Hello, this is your cousin Sherry, and you are listening to the Quite Trippy podcast. It's nice to see you today. It's early. It is 1:17 p.m. on Thursday, and Thursday the 20th, 19th, something like that. And there's some news today. There's Q news today. Not huge, but the president was asked if he knew who Q was, and he said, he smirked. This was in a private meeting, and he smirked and said, he said, if you find out, no, but if you find out, you figure it out, let me know. So, at least he acknowledged the Q movement, and maybe now someone will have the balls to ask him. That'd be cool. And also, I guess kind of in Q news, I would consider it Q news, that, let's see, what did I just put in here? Oh yeah, Jussie Smollett. He said, it's new evidence suggests Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, and others were involved. So, that's something that we knew. We knew that this was going to come out, and it is. So, yet another Q proof. So, but a lot of other things in the news today. So I just thought I'd go over some of the headlines. The first one was just happened about an hour ago. The House Minority Leader McCarthy came out, was talking about his prescription drug bill. Now, prescription drugs, I could use a discount on them, and I think pretty much everybody agrees with that drugs are too expensive. So the bill had to go to Nancy Pelosi, who put a nice big old poison pill in there, a 95% tax that they could apply to it, which doesn't help anybody. So here's McCarthy talking about that.
American citizens. Something that we've been working on and trying to lower, and that's the increasing cost of prescription drugs. We just heard that the Democrat plan, and like most of what we've seen in Congress, this solution to their plan is pretty simple. It's just more socialism. We have not seen the bill, we've only seen the talking points. They've already proposed a hearing on a bill that most have not been able to even read. The Democrats want the government to have complete control over our health care, particularly Americans' access to medicine. The result will be less choice, which means less hope, for Americans who are sick. The answer to increasing cost is not socialism. It is more choice and more cures. That means lowering hurdles to get new medicine to market, price transparency, and rebate reform. The sad part about all of this, earlier this year, we had 3 bills in energy and commerce, and you'll hear from the ranking member, Mr. Walden, in a minute, where all the Republicans and all the Democrats agreed it would lower prescription drug pricing. But after it left committee, it had to go through the Speaker's office. In doing so, the Speaker put a poison pill in to make it partisan. That is what's wrong with the Democrats' proposal. That is what's wrong with their direction. Not only is it socialism, we know government is designed to find compromise, but not when it comes to the Democrats trying to solve a problem. Not working with any Republicans. Actually, working probably not to solve a problem, to actually make it worse. You'll find in this bill that it could increase drug pricing on a tax about 95%. Now, I do want to applaud the Speaker for actually trying to move forward beyond this imaginary impeachment. But now she's created an imaginary bill that cannot solve a problem when we have an opportunity that we could do so much better.
So yeah, that's that. And I like that, imaginary impeachment and imaginary bill, because she came out on her Twitter and said something about, oh, this is fantastic, look at this bipartisan thing I did. So now they have to come back and say, oh, sorry. And then the whole thing goes round and around, which is just infuriating and frustrating, but I don't think about it too much. After I turn the computer off, I just go live my life happily with my family and my friends and I put all this stuff out of my mind as much as I can. And I like to make art. So next in the news, which I think is just hysterical, anytime Justin Trudeau shows his little wussy face. So yes, he's managed to try and whitewash this thing and call it brown face instead of blackface, and the whole media is following suit. But I'm just gonna hear blackface anytime they say brown face, and I'm not gonna listen to their BS new language stuff. So here's Justin. And the whole thing is totally rehearsed.
In this life, and you make decisions based on what they actually do, what they did, and on a case-by-case basis. I think I deeply regret that I did that. I should have known better, but I didn't.
How do you feel about this coming up right now?
Obviously, I regret that I did it. It's not about timing. It's about having done something that I shouldn't have done.
I can appreciate the straightforward apology, but
something like this, Mr. Trudeau, is that the only time in your life you've ever done something like that?
When I was in high school.
there it is. He did it. He did it more than once. Oh my God.
And sang Deo.
He did it more than once.
Au secondaire.
Except singing Deo was a little bit different than Arabian Nights, and so I would say that's more definite. Totally rehearsed press conference. Singing Deo and singing Arabian Nights a little different. So one's blackface, one could possibly be brownface, but there's no such thing as brownface. The whole thing is, it's called blackface. You made it a terrible thing so stick with it. I love costumes. I love dressing up. I love making costumes, the whole art of it. But I'm not even, I won't comment further before I have to apologize for something. Okay, what's next in news? Well, let's go to my Twitter feed. Let's see. Well, here we go. Here's a good one. This is Al Sharpton. Matt Gaetz reminding us that there was actually a resolution condemning him because, just a reminder, everybody should hear this. Part of it, I'll read you the highlighted parts. Concurrent resolution. Whereas the Reverend Al Sharpton has referred to members of the Jewish faith as blood-sucking Jews and Jew bastards. Whereas the Reverend Al Sharpton has referred to members of the Jewish faith as white interlopers and diamond merchants. And whereas the Reverend Al Sharpton led a protest in the Crown Heights neighborhood and marched next to a protester with a sign that read, "The white man is the devil." And also, he insulted members of the Jewish faith by challenging them to violence and stating to Jews to pin down their yarmulkes. So that's the Reverend Al. Yet, he does new segments on, I think it's MSNBC or CNN, and he's got some, I guess you would call it, respect by the media. So, that's who the media is. Once again. And, okay, so got some more sex trafficking stuff. Some guy caught on tape trafficking a bunch of girls, 15, 13. Crazy. A little bit on George Clooney being a CIA agent, which I totally believe that he is. Nick Carter also coming out today saying that his brother molested him, his sister did. Terrible. I mean, obviously with Nick Carter, that there's something going on just by the way he presents himself. He seems like a very tortured soul, and I gotta feel bad for him. It's just a terrible life to live. And anybody that wants to be famous is gotta know that there's something out there in California that's not the way to be famous, I guess. I don't know. I'd rather have money than fame myself. Don't have either. That's okay. I'm still happy. I have love. Okay, and Tom Fitton, my favorite, is he put out a tweet saying, wow, Ray FBI wants to stall until after the next presidential election before completing the release of emails and texts between corrupt FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Trump should order the FBI to comply with the law and stop stonewalling. So what do you think this is? You think this is Chris Wray not quite certain that Trump's going to win the election and that, you know, he doesn't want to comply just in case they haven't lost. The cabal hasn't lost. That way maybe he's got a shot at living. But he should have faith in the plan and have faith in the president because stuff is happening. It's happening all over the place. And, Beto. That's me. Hillary, that's a funny video. Hillary, talk about projection. Let's watch this.
Lays out all the reasons why hacking, stealing, weaponizing information was so impactful. And it will be again. And we will have to hope that not only candidates, but the press and the public will be able quickly to discredit what is being presented. And we won't face the horrible kinds of outcomes we saw before, where people believed Pizzagate, including a young man who drove all the way from North Carolina to Washington with his automatic weapon to shoot up the pizza parlor. Number 3, phony, false online news stories often migrate to the so-called mainstream media. And with the increase in sophisticated technology, that will become even easier and more pervasive. What a candidate says in one speech can and will be spliced together with something the candidate said in another speech and put out in a way that means something entirely different than what was intended or actually said. These are the so-called deep fakes.
Or maybe a video of, no, I'm not going to say it. That's going to sound crazy. I do believe it's real, though. There are videos, allegedly there are videos out there of her getting a blood transfusion directly from a child, and her and Huma performing, Huma and a doctor who surgically removes, this is where it gets crazy, the face of a teenage girl, I think, and they are dancing around wearing it. So that is the Frazzle Drip video. I haven't seen it. I don't really know if anyone has, but apparently that's something that's out there. And I know it sounds crazy, but I'm totally aware of that. Okay, and let's see, what was the last thing for that? Well, Trump did do the border wall conference. I'm not sure if I said that. The border wall conference, which was great. Looks like a great wall. And Facebook, Laura Loomer's, let's check this video out last. Because Laura Loomer's got Facebook to admit they were a publisher. This is great. I'm not going to read it to you. You can read it for yourself. You can go onto Twitter, or I'll put a link in the description box for you. So that's good. And other than that, well, I did promise a video on guano sapping, which will be coming out. And I guess that's it. I guess that's it for now. Maybe I'll pause it and come back. Okay, so I'm switching modes now. back to original mode because I think that the sound is a little better like this. I wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with Adam Schiff in Congress. Apparently he thinks he's found something good. There's this guy named Kyle Cheney on Twitter, and he's giving play-by-play. Today, apparently, Schiff is trying to. There was a whistleblower, I think, that went to the DNI, and Schiff didn't get any memo on it, didn't get a briefing on it, but he did get something off the record, some sort of inside scoop. But with Schiff, you never know because he's a big liar and a big pencil neck. He's really just awful. He's got those cheeks that are like, he's got those, they're rosy, but he looks like he looks like his head's about to explode. But I think that's because he's hiding something, because, you know, Mr. Buck is his friend, and Ed Buck also in the news for a third person finally getting in trouble because a third person nearly died after two did die from his perverted liking to taking in people from the streets and getting off on giving them super high doses of methamphetamines until they almost overdose. It's just seeing how close he can get to the edge. Apparently he failed twice, and a third time the guy actually lived enough to tell the tale, which thank goodness, and thank goodness we finally have drugs. We finally have judges that will do something about it. Nice. So yes, Schiff is saying things in Congress like, we do not have the complaint, we do not know whether the press reports are accurate or inaccurate. He's just making such a big deal out of it. There is no privilege that covers whether the White House is involved in trying to stifle a whistleblower complaint. And the people are just eating this up. The comments are like, put him in jail, put him all in jail. The Dems have to rise up. And they have nothing. For what? For what? It's killing me. I just really want Adam Schiff gone. Ugh. Oh, sorry. I had to move my mic closer because I noticed that the sound kind of stunk. I'm working on it. No, that's a noise we can't do, sorry. Okay. And I'll stop apologizing. So yeah, we got Schiff doing that. And the whole thing with now Saudi Arabia, I think that if you can't see, you know, the reason why Trump isn't declaring war is because he doesn't want war. And people are still, you know, freaking out because they think that, well, of course, you know that Brennan, that doof, he's always coming out saying, you know, whatever Trump does, he takes the opposite position and says it's a horrible thing, and then he starts using big words. And, you know, for such a scary looking guy with a perma frown on his face, he's got this like little girl voice. And, you know, your corpus of intelligence. Show him a corpus. And I guess that's about it right now. I mean, of course, it's not. There's just so much to choose from if I wanted to talk about news items all day. But I will select a nice group of news items for tomorrow, and I will see you then. So I hope you enjoyed the Quite Trippy podcast for the day, and still waiting for Q to come back and post a little bit. So when that starts happening, I will definitely fill you in on Q posts. 8chan, I heard September 30th they were aiming to be up and running. So once that happens, I really feel like we're going to hear from Q at that point. So that's it. Have a great day. Love you all. Like and subscribe, please. And go to quitetrippy.com. And if you want, I don't know, haven't gotten a donation yet, but if you wanted to, I would be like, oh my God, somebody give me $1. That'd be pretty cool.